Hey guys, tonight is Italian night. Forget about it. I was lucky enough to work up in Rhode Island. I worked on the hill and I was worked around a lot of Italians and I learned a lot of their recipes by working up there. This is about as authentic you can get to making a Italian lasagna. I'm using the Trinity, the Holy Trinity of the Italian cooking, which is celery, onions, and carrots. The Cajuns they have theirs, which is usually uh, celery, onions, and garlic. But the Italians use carrots, which I'm actually going to use a little chopped garlic as well, with some chopped basil. A key to basil is always make sure you rub the basil first on fresh basil to get those essential oils off, and then you'll have a more fragrant basil. So I'm using 4 different types of cheeses. I'm using this is going to be about as homemade a pasta, a sausage as you can make. It's going to take about 2.5 hours to do the sauce. But yeah, let's get started. Okay guys, this is what you're going to need for this sauce and for this lasagna. What I have here is I got some pork sausage, I got some ground beef. You can use veal if you want to. What I have here is some mozzarella, some sharp provolone, I have some grated Parmesan, some sharp cheddar, got some celery, some onions, this 1 carrot diced, and then some garlic. And I have a little bit of this. This just has everything in it: salt, pepper. It is everything I'll need for the season the meat. And I already have my water boiling for my lasagna noodles. What I'm going to do now in this pan is I'm going to put some extra virgin olive oil and get the carrots, the celery, and the onion sauteed. See you in a minute. Okay, I've added the celery, carrots, and onion. I forgot to say this is about 1 celery stalk, 1 carrot, and about just 1 medium-sized onion. You want to just cook this for about 10 minutes on medium heat. And I forgot to also add that we're adding a little bit of red wine. You can add any kind of red wine you want. You can add cooking wine. You don't want to use the wine. The wine is actually optional, but it's going to cook down, so the alcohol actually cooks out of the wine. It's just more for flavor than anything else. Yeah, this is going to cook for, let's say, maybe 10 minutes, and I'll add my meat. All right, I already added my garlic. I didn't put that in earlier, but I put that in just now. It's been there for a couple of minutes. This is ready for the meat. This one cooking for about 2 minutes. Just been stirring it off and on. Just want to make sure you onions get kind of translucent. And when that happens, all you want to do now is just add your meat. This is the Italian. This is pork sausage, ground beef, some more sausage. Kind of push this down. It's all incorporated. And I've got my lasagna noodles. They're about ready. We got a couple more minutes. I'll pull those out. Put just a dab of oil on them. Keep sticking. Don't want to put a lot of oil. You really want to make sure your pasta is al dente. You don't want any mushy noodles for this dish. You want to cook them. They're still a little firm because you're still going to cook some in the oven. So, see you in a minute. Okay, when it's about done, I'll put a little bit of some salt and pepper in here. Now I'm going to add the wine. I'm adding about 2 cups of red wine, and you can add, if you don't want to add the wine, you don't have to. Like I said, this will cook off basically. Stir this in. Cook this for about 10 more minutes. Let this alcohol evaporate, and then I'll be ready to add my tomato sauce. And what we're going to do with this tomato sauce is we're going to cook it for about an hour covered, and we'll stir that occasionally. And then after an hour, we'll cook it uncovered, and we'll add a little bit of water probably at that time. You can add chicken broth if you'd like, or I just add some water. And in place of this wine, you could add water as well. Like I said, the wine is optional. And you can even use the cooking wine if you can find that in the store. This is just a red wine, a basic red wine, nothing too fancy. Just cook this down for about 10 more minutes, and then we'll add what the sauce I bought basically is just it's basically just tomato sauce. Nothing's added to it. It's just, if you can make your own, that's fine. You can just get you some raw tomatoes, fresh, and wash them and remove the skin, and then put them in a processor. And but I saw these at Publix yesterday, and I just thought this might be a little simpler, easier to do. I know I'm cutting corners, but I'm gonna try these, see how it is. It is a product of Italy. It came from the source, so we'll see how it goes. All right, see you in a minute. Okay, this meat's been cooking for about 10 minutes or so. And I added a little more salt and pepper. You just have to taste your meat as you go along, just kind of see how it tastes. And now it's time to add the sauce. So I'm going to put this sauce in here. I'm going to put about 1.5 bottles of sauce. And then the other half I'm going to put on the very end. I'm going to put that on the very end on top of the lasagna. I'll show y'all that time. Just going to add, that should be enough. And the rest of it I'm going to add at the very end on top of my lasagna. Stir this in, and I'm going to cook this for an hour with a lid on top of it. Just going to put this on low heat and cook this for about an hour. And this is going to cook down even more. And then, like I said, after it cooks for an hour with the lid on, we're going to take the lid off and cook it for another additional hour. We'll just cross that bridge when we get to it. Just stir all this in, and turn your eye down to low heat. You do want to keep this stirred while it's cooking. I'm going to cook this for an hour, and we'll see you then. Yes, put the lid on. I'm sorry. Make sure you put the lid on. We cooked that for an hour with the lid on low heat, and just make sure you keep it stirred every now and then so it won't stick. All right, I took the lid off. This is going to cook for another hour with the lid off. Just keep it stirred. And you may need to add some water. I don't think I need to add any at this time. I think it's still got a pretty good bit of liquid still in it, but you may need to add water depending on how yours looks. You don't want this to burn. So it's going to cook for another hour with the lid off. And I'm going to add a little bit of basil to this, chopped up. And then select this aromatic. Key to basil, if you do get fresh basil, you want to rub that basil before you chop it up. That will remove the oils, and it'll give you a lot more aromatic or fragrance to your sauce. Man, that basil already gives it a nice smell. You guys as much of that basil as you want. All right, cook this for it's already got another hour to go, and then we'll start preparing this lasagna. All right, here's the final product of this spaghetti sauce. It's been cooked for an hour with the top off. Just do any kind of tasting you need to taste, add any seasoning. I'm going to let this sit for about half an hour, let it get cool, and then I'm going to start making the lasagna. All right, now we're going to start preparing this lasagna. First thing we want to do is we're going to set this over here. First thing we're going to do is we're going to put a little bit of, I've already put some ham in this. You can use oil or I just sprayed this a little bit with some ham. You just want to put a very, very thin layer of this sauce. Thin layer of this sauce on here. And then we're going to put the noodles. You just want to put a very, very thin layer. Once you do that, we're going to put our noodles. Make sure it overlaps like shingles on a house. Just make sure you cover the whole bottom of this pan. All right, now we're going to add another layer of sauce. You don't want to get any of these layers too thick. You take the part away the flavor of the cheese and the sauce. Just keep a real thin layer of everything. I'm using 4 kinds of cheese. I'm using Parmesan, mozzarella, sharp cheddar, and sharp provolone. You can use any kind of cheese that you want. You can even do a bechamel sauce, which is a mixture of flour. It's like you make a roux with some flour and butter. And then once that thickens, you add a little bit of milk and some nutmeg. And you can use that also. You can also use ricotta with ricotta, eggs, and Parmesan mixture. And some people use cottage cheese. I'm not a big fan of that myself personally, but each their own. But you can use cottage cheese to make this dish. There really is no right or wrong way. Main thing is just whatever ingredients you like to use. Then we're going to do a little bit of this is just grated fresh Parmesan cheese. Just put a real good thin layer of that on there. And then we're going to add a little sharp cheddar. I might even have enough to make 2 batches of lasagna. Hopefully I'll do one and then I'll freeze one and eat it another time. These are actually better frozen. This is a sharp provolone. Be kind of careful with this sharp one because it is kind of strong. I don't want to put too much of this, but it does give it a real good flavor, good kick. And then we're going to add a little bit of the mozzarella. Okay, once you do that, then we'll add another layer of pasta. I'm gonna do another layer of sauce. You get the idea. It's just layers. But you can do this. You can do vegetable lasagna. You can just omit the meats and just put veggies. You can do I've even seen seafood lasagna, which is pretty good. I've even seen pizza lasagna. And pizza lasagna basically is just, you know, regular pepperoni and your regular pizza toppings. Remember, I saved the other salsa here for to put on the very top of the lasagna. So I'll have plenty of sauce. Okay, now it's time for add some more of the cheese. More sharp cheddar. This is the Cracker Barrel sharp cheddar, if you're wondering. It's just they have extra sharp, which is good too. I've actually used the extra sharp as well. I forgot to do this, but that's fine. We're going to add some Parmesan. And then we'll do some more of this provolone. My oven's already been set. It's set on 365. I'm going to put a layer of foil on top of this lasagna, and I'm going to cook it for about 20-30 minutes, and then I'll take the foil off and put some more cheese on top of that. All right, now we'll add our more pasta. That should be the last layer. This should be the last layer of pasta, and then we'll get ready to put that marinara sauce here. Okay. Now we're going to do this here. Next, I'm going to put this in a in a 365-degree oven. Put a little aluminum foil on top of this. This will go for about 20 to 30 minutes. Alright guys, here's the, you'll see when I pull this off, well I didn't put the cheese yet. See the top there? And we're going to put some more of this Parmesan. I got another one over there for another rainy day. I'm going to put some foil over that and put that in the freezer. And I'll have that another time. Alright, let's go back in the oven. And we'll do this for another maybe 20 minutes, and then we'll be ready to eat. Alright, here's the finished product. I just let it cook about 25 more minutes, and I'll let it sit for about 20. Then we'll cut a slice up. See how it looks? You definitely don't want to cut this right now. You'll have a lasagna everywhere. It'll just be falling apart. Let your lasagna sit for at least 15-20 minutes before you actually start cutting it, and let it sit. That way you'll have a perfect slice of lasagna. Hang on a second, we'll be ready to eat. Lasagna. Let's see how it goes. Delissimo. Toodles.